Hey guys, in this video we're going to cover how to set a ladder truss on the end of your floor truss system. We're going to assume that all the floor trusses are already set because we need this end one to set this ladder truss. Okay, so we already got our ladder truss out of our bunk of trusses. And we got our tag facing the back of the house just like the truss plan says. I always listen to the tag even on a ladder truss. We got it set upside down right here next to where it goes. You can tell it's upside down because these notches for your rim board, these always go at the top and we got them facing down. So we're going to start on this end. So the first thing we do is mark out for these bolts. We're going to take this measurement and transfer it over there to drill a hole out so that the ladder truss can sit down flush. It really helps to do this with two guys. You have one guy holding a tape here calling out the measurements of center, and you have another guy with a tape holding on this end, pulling down, making the marks as you call them out. So guy calling it out, guy making marks. 11 and 13/16, 78 and a half, 150 and 3/8, 215 and 3/4, 276. Now you do the same exact thing for the bolt, how far it's inset from the edge. So when I call it out, the other guy will mark it down. 1 and 7/8. And the thing to remember with this is this truss is going to flip. So you got to make sure you're pulling from the right edge. With here, since it's upside down, this is our outside edge. So we're going to mark 1 and 7/8 from this side. And that's the center of our hole. 2 1/4. What? 2 1/4, 2 3/8, 2 5/8, 2 1/2. Now we'll bore out these holes with an inch bit. So now we'll throw it up on the wall. But a thing you want to check for is anything sticking up that's going to change the height of the truss. Good to go. Okay, next thing is we're flushing this end with the rest of these trusses on this line here. So we want to make sure it's on this plate, in line with this plate. Then we're going to nail it off, and we're going to use galvanized nails to put 2 next to each stud, all the way down the line. While we're nailing, we want to make sure to flush this up here, because we know this board is in the right place. So we're going to nail it there and then plumb off of that. So right here we have a gap between the truss and the sill plate just because it's sitting up. So we're going to use our quick clamp, pull that gap down. Nice. Hold the board up a little bit, but suck the truss down as well. So we're flush here on our important part. Nail it off. The next step is to plumb the ends. So we're going to take a board right here, keep it inset. Take a little level. Make sure you go from the wood to the wood. Don't put on the plates. So we're going to lean it out. This is an important part because we chalked out our house down here on this sill plate, and we want to transfer those exact measurements up to our subfloor so that our house stays the same size. Good there. Another thing I forgot to mention is if your ladder truss is a different length than this truss, sometimes the truss bears way out there and this truss will be a different height. So you'll have to level across over here and shim up, or maybe even plane the top of this truss to make it line up with your floor. You don't want it to dive off next to a corner of the house. It'll roll the sheeting down. In this house, both these trusses are the same length, so we are level the whole way. So we're good to go. I don't usually worry too much about getting the ladder truss perfect just because floor trusses are imperfect. I-joists are a flatter floor, as you can see. Okay, the last thing we're gonna do is string it. This allows us to plumb it. Since we're plumb on each corner, we're gonna string it the whole way. And when we're sheeting the floor system, we're gonna pull the truss over to be 1.5 inches off our string line. That gives us a straight wall and a plumb wall. A quick thing is that try and get your blocks on the actual wood and not on the plates. Sometimes they'll stick out as much as 1/8. Okay, so we got our ladder truss all set and our string line up. If you guys got any value out of this video, please consider subscribing. Just remember, the important things are to flush up your heel side, flush up that plate on the bottom as you nail, and level it if you need it. If the trusses don't line up, you need to shim underneath each stud. Then we plumb each end, string it, and while we're sheeting, we make sure that we're 1.5 inches off that string line when we nail the sheeting in order to keep that line straight. If you want to check out our video about sheeting edges and all the different areas to pay attention to, like stairwell holes and ladder trusses, check out this video here.